Magic in the classroom. On her first day at school, Emma wore a tutu, a red cape, a pair of swim goggles that she kept over her eyes. Mr. Stephen said we were not under any circumstances allowed to make fun of her. Emma is different, he said in that exasperating tone adults use to explain things while not explaining them at all. She needs your support and understanding, and I will not tolerate bullying in my classroom. Of course, that didn't stop Sarah, who, as everyone knows, is a bully. The other day, Sarah turned to me and said, "Oh, Samantha, you're the best writer in our class. I only wish I could write as well as you do." She smiled sweetly at Mr. Stephen, who just happened to be passing by with our homework assignments. As soon as he turned his back, though, she stuck her finger right between my ribs and wiggled it. "Teacher's pet," she said, and then looked away, tossing her hair. I still have a bruise. So, I wasn't surprised when Sarah offered to take Emma on a tour of the school. I was sure that this was phase 1 of her full attack against Emma and that bizarre outfit. Because Mr. Stephen is an adult and all adults think Sarah is perfect, he agreed. "Sarah, I think that's a wonderful idea. Very thoughtful of you." This was not a good sign. Sure, Emma seemed weird, but she certainly didn't deserve to be subject to Sarah alone, one-on-one. And so I did something that would lead to one of the most fantastical, amazing experiences of my life. I raised my hand. "Mr. Stephen, would you mind if I went too? I'd love to get to know Emma better." Mr. Stephen smiled. "Of course, Samantha. I have wonderful students." Sarah growled at me, but I didn't care. "Come on, Emma, follow me," I said. Emma trailed behind me. "So, where are you from?" I asked her. "Here and there," she said. "What do you like to do for fun?" I asked. I was struggling to find a conversation. "Magic," Emma replied. Jeez, I thought to myself, this was not going to be easy. "Magic," Sarah cried. "Maybe you can magic yourself some new clothes." She laughed. Emma's nose crinkled. "I bet they kicked you out of your last school," Sarah continued. "I wouldn't be surprised if—" "Enough, Sarah," I said. Her high-pitched squealing was getting to me. This is where things began to get strange, unbelievable, and downright magical. Emma began muttering something quickly. She was so quiet that if I hadn't seen her lips move, I would have doubted that she was saying anything at all. She began moving her hands in small circles, and she stretched her head back so that I was sure she could see whatever was behind her. "Stop it," Sarah said. "Stop it, stop it, stop it." Up until that point, I had been so busy watching Emma to notice what was happening to Sarah. She was hunched over, resting her elbows on her thighs. She was taking deep breaths. And this is the absolute truth, frogs began jumping out of her mouth. Little ones at first, yellow and red frogs spotted with black polka dots, and then big ones, bullfrogs and warty toads that skipped out of her mouth and tumbled onto the floor. I stared at Sarah without blinking. Hundreds of frogs had fallen out of her mouth and onto the floor. Then suddenly, Emma snapped her fingers, and all of the frogs disappeared. "What you do to me, Sarah?" asked fearfully. "Nothing," Emma shrugged. "What are you talking about, Sarah?" I giggled. "I didn't see anything." Sarah went home from school early that day. She told Mr. Stephan she didn't feel well. The next day, she came to school wearing a tutu, a red cape, and swim goggles. She turned to Emma with a smirk. "You're not the only one with tricks up your sleeve," she said. "Some things never change," I whispered to Emma. She smiled. I had a feeling this was going to be a great year.